So it is Christmas 2023. Last year, I did two things on Christmas. I did a video which was a personal message from me, and I did a video where I reviewed President Zelensky's Christmas speech because it was awesome. Now, I just read President Zelensky's Christmas speech for this year, and it's even more awesome. So I'm going to do those two things again. I'm going to review his speech because it's just really encouraging. And I'm going to show you something that I put into this same video last year. It's my favorite Christmas carol, and why it's my favorite Christmas carol. At the time, I had 1,077, 1,770 something thousand subscribers. So that's not very much. In fact, if you look at this, it was 11 months ago, which now 12 months ago tomorrow, and I had 264 views. So I think if I tell you my favorite Christmas carol again, it's probably not going to hurt anything. Here's President Zelensky's speech, and it was just well done, as most of his speeches are. They're very pointed, they're very on target, they appeal to the audience really well, whether that's appealing to a foreign parliament or whether it's just targeting to the events of the time. He does a masterful job with this. Okay, Christmas, which is always loved by children and awaited by adults. Christmas, which fills the heart with light. Christmas, which always gives hope. For the second year now, we have learned another form of it, another dimension. This is Christmas in times of full-scale war. And family dinner at home is not the same as usual. And it's become much more important, not what dishes are on the table, but what people are at the table. Now think about the situation for most people in Ukraine. Many people either know somebody who's at the front, or know somebody who's died, or knows people who have been, whose houses have been destroyed, or so on and so forth. And how today it's not so much about how we decorate our homes, but rather how we protect them and clean up the messes. Wow. I wish our wishes have changed. How children's wishes have changed from the simple and usual, I wish for dad to come home early from work, to I wish for dad to come back. All those who are meeting the Christmas Eve in the trenches with weapons in their hands facing the enemy, all our warriors of light, guardian angels of Ukraine, who prove to us every day, goodwill will prevail, light will prevail. All those who are meeting the Christmas Eve in the trenches with weapons in their hands. All those who are meeting Christmas Eve in the trenches with weapons in their hands, facing the enemy. That's fact of life for a lot of Ukrainians right now. All our warriors of light, guardian angels of Ukraine, who prove to us every day, good will prevail, light will prevail. In troubled times, as we defend our land and souls, we are making our way to freedom, the way to gaining comprehensive independence, including a spiritual one, freedom of our faith from the ideology of slavery, from a cult that has nothing human or sacred within it. And we're talking about the Russian mentality, the Russian political philosophy, the Russian way of looking at the world. One that brings violence, aggression, and hatred. One that takes away security and peace, takes away other people's lands and human lives. One that will be defeated. Right now, I'm in the Kiev Pershesk Lavra. I probably slaughtered that name, and I'm sorry. Majestic, iconic hours. And here's the picture of where he's standing. He's standing in front of this particular building. Throughout history, this place has experienced numerous upheavals and hardships, profanation, desecration, looting, the Horde, the Nazis, the Soviet times. This place was captured, burned, and destroyed. But no one has ever been able to destroy it completely and forever. The Lavra has always withstood to be reborn again. And after each blow, it not only recovered, but grew bigger and stronger. But tomorrow the day starts getting longer. Christmas Eve is a time of the longest nights of the year. But tomorrow the day starts getting longer. The light starts prevailing. The light is getting stronger. And step by step, day by day, darkness retreats. And in the end, darkness will lose. Evil will be defeated. Today, this is our common goal, our common dream. And this is what our common prayer is for today, for our freedom, for our victory, for our Ukraine, for the day when we can all come together at home in a peaceful year of peaceful Christmas and say to each other, Christ is born. And let us today say, let Ukraine, and as we will say today, let our Ukraine bear victory and peace. God grant it. Congratulations, dear people of Ukraine. Christ is born. Let us praise him. Okay, so what's interesting here are a few things. One, just how incredibly encouraging Zelensky's message is. Two, Zelensky is Jewish, not Christian, but yet he can still very clearly and coherently explain the Christmas message, and that he can tie it to the circumstances on the ground. How I like lines like, and it's not. It's become much more important not what dishes are on the table, but what people are at the table, or how today it's not so much how we decorate our homes, but how we protect them and clean up the mess. Or I wish Daddy would come home early from work too. I wish for Dad to come back. He did a great job here, and it's incredibly encouraging to hear this. Now, in my last iteration of this a year ago on Christmas, I talked about my favorite Christmas carol, and maybe I'll find a link somewhere and link it at the end so that you can actually hear it. It's I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. It was written by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. He's an American poet. And the song tells of him hearing Christmas bells during the Civil War, and he's despairing. And he's despairing because hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And that peace on earth, goodwill to men probably sounds familiar. It's a very common Christmas phrase. Well, there's some deep background to Longfellow's verses. I'm going to read the first two and the last two because it's kind of a long poem, and those tend to be always in the song. In 1861, 2 years before writing this poem, Longfellow's personal peace was shaken. And here's what happened. His wife was fatally burned in an accidental fire, so she dies. And then in 1863, during the American Civil War, Longfellow's oldest son, Charles, is critically wounded. And he's just been reeling issue after issue, and now he's writing this poem, and this poem becomes this carol. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, of mild and sweet the words repeat, of peace on earth, goodwill to men. And thought how as the day has come, the belfries of all Christendom had rolled along unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Sounds great so far. But then we get to the end where it gets real. And in despair I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Sounds about right. Then pealed the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. That's my favorite Christmas carol for a reason. You can probably see it. It's also my hope and prayer for Ukraine. Thank you for listening to me this far. I wish you a Merry Christmas, and I hope that we can be talking about a peaceful and I hope that this time next year we can be talking about a peaceful Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas. Thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.